Hey fellow Game Masters, I'm Richard Quiner, and welcome back to the RPG Daily, helping you build your world and master your game. Today's video has been a long time coming. It's been a project I've been working on over the last several weeks. This is the kickoff of our community campaign, the first of hopefully many, where I take several members of the YouTube community. We sit down, we play a short campaign together, and put it up on the internet here so you can watch it and get involved in the world. Today's episode is the Session 0. We go over some character building things and some basic information about the world we're living in. The video here today is about 45-50 minutes of backstory building, character building, and working on figuring out how this process is going to go. So I do recommend you watch this video before diving into the rest of the campaign, as the character building information and descriptions are in this one, and we don't really go into that one in the first session of the campaign. I also want to ask you to please be patient with the production value of this project as we kind of hit the ground running, and I'm still catching up and getting the actual production side of things figured out. We still are telling a great story, but it might not look so pretty just yet. That being said, welcome to Rukvar's Crusade, the first of many community campaigns here on the RPG Daily.
All right, so we'll jump into some of this Session 0 stuff, guys. But thank you guys for signing up to play. When I first announced I was doing it, I wasn't sure how many people I would get, but I'm glad we were able to get a group, and I have another group in August. So we'll see if this keeps like rolling and we keep telling some stories. Let's see, you guys all have your characters somewhat made, right?
Yep.
I know, Anthony, you're like well ahead of everyone. Rice Combo, you were ahead. Chris, you debated for a long time, but it looked like you settled with what?
Yeah, so I was sort of waiting on the fourth player, whether I was going to be a Forge Cleric or a Druid, and I'm going to go with Druid.
All right.
Because I think, Zach, you're being a Tempest Cleric, aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm going to be more of a healer than a damage destruction type of person, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah. And then Zach, you are the Tempest Cleric. So I just want to do a little bit, just getting into the character's mindset. I want to have you guys introduce your characters to the rest of the party. If you have specific secrets that you don't want to share, you don't have to share those. I'm not going to be like calling you out, but this is the time, like, what would your party members know? Consider that you've been traveling together for probably about a week on the road. Not really doing a lot of fighting, but just like going from one point to another. So think of the stuff that you would have shared in that kind of situation. And we'll just start on my screen. I got Anthony first, and we'll just go down the line. So what do you got about your character?
All right. So my character's name is Arsalan Alisdair. He's about like a 30-year-old human. He comes from a northern city by the Arctic. I don't know the name of that city, but that's fine. He has this little penguin familiar that's always with him. And I'm trying to think, what would he would have. He's kind of like a person that is like live like there's no tomorrow, but also live every day as if, well, not live like there's no tomorrow, live every day that it's like a special moment, especially because he just loves life. He loves experiencing new things, and he's just on a journey of learning learning the different experiences that is within the world, and also trying to learn more about magic and the history of magic.
All right. Very cool. I like the Arctic location. I have a couple ideas, depending on if you want to go large city or small town. Which do you feel is more Arsalan's upbringing?
I think probably large town, just to like have that contrast of what I told you before, that he just walks 2 hours to see his masked mentor.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna show you guys a world map of the world we're gonna be playing in.
Sick.
So I'm gonna pop that up in here and give you guys an idea of what is dealing with.
Just to quickly, Anthony, does the penguin have a name?
Yes, the penguin's name is Barry. Barri.
Bury the penguin.
Barry the penguin. That's good to know.
I'm definitely going to use that for something sometime. Bury the penguin!
No, Barry, no!
No, Barry,
Don't do
no!
it! Stop killing people, Barry!
This is like my familiar just goes down and everyone just goes into a rage. He was the best of us.
You are the chosen one, Barry!
I can see Barry having a big part in this adventure.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he has blue skin. Blue. I don't know what penguins have because they don't have feathers.
They do.
They
Do they?
kind of do,
They're
yeah.
just very small, like fine feathers. But
Yeah.
they are feathered, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy. So this here, you guys can see, is the world map. I built the world as an entire world, not just one continent, because I hate myself. But Anthony, what you'll see, I'm gonna ping on the map. I can hold down a click and ping, and it's not very visible. But up near the top is the Arctic region, and in this, if I shift ping. If you guys are able to zoom in with the mouse, you can, scroll to zoom in and out, and you can right-click to drag around the map and look around. But where you guys have your mouse at, that is actually a large city called Ice Reach. That's the capital of that continent, and their main export is ice. But since you guys are the second age, it is still getting started. It's still the capital, but it's a much smaller city than in my other game. So that's an option if you want to be from the capital. If you don't, and you just want another big city, you have this entire continent. We can place your town wherever you want, and you can name it whatever you want. So, something to think about. You don't have to decide now if you don't want to, but if you do have an idea, then, yeah.
This island here looks really interesting.
That
Like
is actually a place, if you want to know, that's called Merovingia, and it is a colony of Genasi. So that's kind of the place where this world connects to the elemental planes, and so all the Genasi, all the elemental creatures just kind of live on that little island. What's that called? An atoll. And in my other campaign, we have a villain who's a mob boss who's from there, and they just call him the Merovingian. So that's how that got its name.
Can there be a Genasi who's a mix of all four elements?
I
The
had
overall
thought of that,
supreme Genasi.
because I think
That's
that'd be
pretty cool.
really fun.
Kind of
So-
like a super scroll.
Yeah, so that's Anthony's character, Arsalan. Chris,
Yes.
tell us about your character.
So IronBark is a warforged druid, and his sort of backstory is he's long forgotten his original name and his creators and things like that, and he was created as sort of like just a frontline soldier in some sort of war that the warforged have. I don't know what the law will be here, but basically he just got like severely injured in a battle and just wandered into the woods and like sat down and shut down for hundreds and hundreds of years, and like a tree sort of grew through him, because warforged are sort of like a mix of like organic and inorganic material. So he still retains like what metal parts are left, but he's a lot of tree as well. And then something might have happened to have awoken him, perhaps like one of the other party members found him in the woods, and as to why he's become sort of like a druid or why he's joining the group, I don't really know just yet. I think he kind of could have been happy to sort of just stay in the woods and like away from fighting, and live sort of a peaceful life with nature as nature. So I think, yeah, depending on what the hooks are, I might see what I can sort of come up with. But
yeah, we'll work something out with that. And is it spelled IMBACH? IronBark?
oh no, sorry.
IronBark.
IronBark. I thought you were making like a Terminator thing, like I'm back, I'm back. So I was like, that's clever. IronBark. I'm sorry. The accent threw me off. IronBark.
Sorry, yeah, that's my accent. But yeah, I suppose when he wakes up, well, the thing is, I think his eyes have been working the whole time. He's been like recording, like nature growing around him. So maybe when he fully activates, he does it IronBark and steps out of his throne in the brush.
All right.
But, and another thing to go along with your penguin, Anthony, he's like a full microcosm of like lots of little critters and stuff that, because he's been a part of nature in a tree for hundreds of years. He's got like a little hole in his chest in the wood there, and a little family of birds live there where his heart would be.
Did he name the birds?
Chirp one, chirp two, chirp three.
He just makes the sounds of the birds chirping.
What was the penguin's name?
Barry.
So the birds will be Larry, Carrie,
and
Steve.
Steve, yeah, that's Steve. Steve is the baby bird, yeah.
All right.
They're not penguins though, but they are blue.
Are they spelled with I? Larry,
Yeah, all of
with
them.
an I.
Yeah.
Barry is spelled with an I. B-A-R-R-I.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so are all the birds' names.
Okay.
And so Steve as well. It's two I's for the in the
Right.
middle.
Steven? It's Steven.
Stephen. Stephen with the PH. The PH is at the beginning.
Oh my goodness.
PHSTIIVIN.
I think there's a couple more I's in there.
2 I's in the beginning, 2 I's at the end.
Yeah,
And
that's
then the last one is silent after the end. It's kind of, it looks like it's like a binary code kind of writing.
Yeah, something that a Warforged would name something.
That's Steven. All right. Any other interesting fact about your character you want to share?
Yeah, he loves nature. I think instead of I thought of like some really weird stuff. So like instead of having to like clip his fingernails or his toes, he gets like little like roots and little plants that grow out of them that he like bites off as a weird little trait. And he has a cooking utensils came with him just from his background and stuff. So I think he likes cooking, making stews and stuff for everyone. Maybe, I don't know. He doesn't eat, so
He just makes food.
I think
Doesn't
that's
know
an
if it tastes
interesting-
good.
I don't know what this
It's
tastes
food.
like. Let's try this.
yeah,
All right.
giving it a go.
Yeah, the Warforged cook of the party probably
Yeah.
makes some great stuff. All right, we'll move on. Rice combo. And your name is Daniel, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. So my name is Daniel. So my character is Savis Loonrunner. However, he generally likes to leave his name anonymous with the Waymaker, and generally leaves whenever he leaves taverns or does good deeds. He generally kind of leaves that as his trademark, trying to grow a name for himself, but more so a name for the deity that he essentially kind of attributes and serves. So Savis is a bard, a half-elf bard. Blonde hair with a very grown-out undercut. He has kind of he always presents himself with a very sharp, kind of alluring smile. He wears very loose clothing with some padded armor and kind of a vested trench coat that also has his favorite color on it, which is orange. To his right, he has kind of like a very skinny blade, very similar to a rapier. And on his left side, he kind of holds a slung pouch. On his back, just his normal backpack and bedroll. And then his most famous thing that he always cares with as much care as he can is his long long-necked strapped lute. And then at the end of the lute, or at the head of the lute, there's 3 charms of red, blue, and purple. Kind of significant to him, but he doesn't really go into the story very often, or he doesn't go to the story unless asked why he has those charms. He also, and the only other thing in terms of his description that you've probably noticed is he has just an amulet with just a shiny opal. With a crest of some kind. If you've asked, it's a crest of his father. He doesn't know his dad. He was raised by his mother, but in his 18th year, his mother did pass, and he talks about it very openly. But he talks about how his mother passing was a gift in disguise, and so where there is sadness, he chooses to replace with kind of happiness. He chooses to get rid of, or he chooses to calm people down from anger, and then chooses to always be around people and comfort them when they are lonely. So he is at the start of this inception of this character, the idea was going to play a bard who constantly just walks around, kind of haggling people and kind of just tricking people. But as I kept writing the story out for Savis, I was like, no, this guy's a good guy. And so he generally carries himself as someone who cares about others and wants to see good happen. That's Savis.
All right. Any other little tidbits?
No.
All right. Sounds good.
He is part of the Barry fan club. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's
He has a pet
Unreal.
squirrel named Jerry.
Two eyes.
Yeah, with 2 eyes.
JIRRI.
Yeah, named by IronBark, of course. We'll actually just move on. Zach, this is your first real game, so
Yep.
it's gonna be a little learning curve, but I think you found a good group. These guys all know their stuff, and they seem patient enough to help out. So tell us about your character. What have you come up with so far?
I'm literally gonna make up majority of this on the fly.
Excellent.
My character's name is Raiken. What did I put his last name as? I had it just a second ago. Here we go. No. It's Raiken Bliksem, I believe it is, which is, or let's see, Bliksem, which is Dutch for lightning. I just made it up, found it on the fly.
All right.
He is an ASMR Tempest Cleric. He was about 24, 25 years old currently, and was a fisherman. Because that's just what it told me to say in D&D Beyond. So, as a fisherman, he's part of the, he's been with the storms on the sea. And his deity, which I have yet to figure out, I haven't found the deities for Tempest Cleric quite yet.
We'll talk about that because we'll be making up your own deity.
Okay, so we'll do that then. But he is about 6 feet tall, really, really elegant yellow blonde hair, long ponytail, pulled back, with very, very bright blue eyes. A little bit of stubble on the chin, but not much. But very, very sharp features, chiseled jaw, just broad, just worked on, just being worked on the docks, worked on the sea. And he has a pet slug named Terry. No. With 2 eyes. No, he carries around because I believe that with the Tempest you can have heavy armor and a maul, correct?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Because if he can carry a maul, or I wanted him to have a pole arm, which I know he can have, but I don't know if I want to do the pole arm really.
Tempest, you do have martial weapons, so you could get that, but it's not included in the. I don't think it's included in the main starting equipment.
No, but you could get a
But starting-
warhammer.
A warhammer. I'll use a
Warhammer.
warhammer then. Yeah, warhammer. Okay. Then I'll use the warhammer, and then he also wears a silvered with blue heavy armor.
Okay.
For the color. I'm just hoping that I'm not going to be loud, but he's very obnoxious. He's not very, he's not very intelligent. But he's very. Hopefully, if I roll well, he'll have good wisdom. But he's one of those take action and ask questions later kind of person.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of want to play that. And he's gonna be. I don't know where he's gonna come from, but I want him to be from some sort of a village off on the coast.
A coastal
So I
village,
don't know.
okay.
Yeah, so somewhere, I don't know, on the water. I don't know really where it would be from. I don't know if we're in the Arctic area or not. I don't really want to be Arctic. But
Where you're from will not really determine where you are currently.
got it.
So we'll actually just be able to pick any spot on here that looks interesting to you. In my mind, I'm thinking probably one of these islands that's just sitting out in the middle of the... Where'd my mouse go? These islands here in the middle is probably going to work out.
We'll do this middle one.
All right. And then you can
there.
think on it, and you get to name the town you're from.
Cool.
That goes for everybody who's from a town. You'll be able to, like, Daniel and Savis, wherever you want to be from, you'll get to name it. We can come up with some information on that, and it'll just be a part of the world from then on.
Cool.
Any other little bits of information on Raiken?
If you don't want to call him Raiken, you can call him Rye. Works easier. He likes whiskey, as you can tell, Rye. I don't know. I think that's about it.
All right.
I've got to try to character build a little bit for myself. I was really busy at work, unfortunately, yesterday to continue on with what I was doing. But
Well, how about on your computer, go ahead and open up D&D Beyond, and we'll get you started putting your character kit together. And this will also be a moment to clarify some of the rules we're going to be using and some of the things. So first off, I think all of you guys already know we're going to be using the array system for stats rather than rolling for them. So I feel like that makes it a little more fair, and it's always... I do like the rolling. I do enjoy it, but... You know, I want it to be a little more even-keeled for this first experimental campaign of sorts. And then I had told you guys go with your starting equipment that the book offered you, rather than the, you know, get your gold and buy it. And anything's on the table. So I believe the rest of you guys pretty much already made things. Chris, I think you made 2 characters before you decided which one.
Yeah, I love D&D Beyond, and yeah, so at work, instead of like watching videos, I was just like making characters and having a look at like what they get at different levels, just to have an idea. But
Sounds about right. Yep.
yeah,
That's what I did.
yeah, and then yeah, they settled on a druid because it can turn into a bear at level 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I have to keep all that into account for the encounters. Let me tell a little bit about the campaign and how this is going to work a little bit. It's going to be a little accelerated. So by the end of 4 sessions, you guys should be reaching level, or be level 5 by the 4th session. Just because I think that's a lot of fun to level up, and then you get to try your new things. And since it's such a compressed storyline, it'll be a little more interesting to give you guys upgrades more often. The adventure itself, I was telling Daniel when he asked in Discord, I have different locations it could end up. It's going to be largely your decisions. The main ones are going to be a cave system, a forest, or what was the other one? A town. So depending on your decisions, when we get playing, that's where you might end up. Yeah, any questions on any of that?
just gonna learn as I go.
All right. But before we focus on Zach, I wanted to do one more little character activity with you guys. I want to know, I'm going to go down the line or kind of rotate around, but I'm going to ask how your character knows another character, how just one bit of how they know each other, aside from the, oh, we've been traveling together for a week, like maybe something that they have in common, something that they bonded over. And this is your chance to influence another person's character a little bit, so don't go too crazy. So like IronBark, can't really say so and so is also a Warforged. Doesn't work, but you know, you can have something in common. You guys already have your Larry, Harry, and Steven kind of connection.
We all bonded over Barry.
Y'all bonded over Barry, but this will be on a more personal note, just to make the group a little more cohesive. I've always enjoyed doing this with my players. So we will start with Daniel. We'll have you start, and I want to know, what do you have in common? What does Savis have in common with Raiken? Like, what have they bonded over?
Yeah, I believe we probably, over the course of our travels, we have been going from town to town, heading towards our destination. But one thing that I noticed that was, wait, actually, I do have a question about Raiken. What kind of Aasimar is he? I'm specifically like, I guess the question I'm asking is he a protector, scourge?
Protector.
Okay. So yeah, like, it was just one of those things, like, you wouldn't notice, like, no one would notice, because I would just say Raiken probably saw just a boy who just was injured. How he was injured, probably just either clowning around, or it doesn't really matter how he was injured, but it looked like he had some sort of wound, and Raiken just came up to him and just kind of helped him get on his way. And the boy Raiken didn't ask for much, didn't say, tell everybody about my name. He just took care of the boy and went on his way. And then I kind of, after I saw that, I just turned and was like, I saw what you did there. And then just kind of continue on back into the tavern to just grab some drinks.
All right. So they bonded over heroism and helping. Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't bond over their shocking blonde hair that they share.
Yeah.
I'm definitely. It's like, so you were saying how you only answer about the colored charms on your loot. I ask you that probably once or twice a day.
Yeah.
I guarantee. I will ask you that constantly, because it's just funny to mess with you. but and the music makes me happy and calm as well too. So that's definitely gonna be my character of the. Imagine me being a Drax kind of a person, who, you know, why is Gamora kind of thing. So that's kind of how.
That was the funniest thing in that whole movie. I couldn't stop laughing afterwards. I honestly, the first time I watched it, I missed like the next 3 minutes because I kept thinking about why is Gamora.
So that's gonna be my mentality for sure.
All right. So Zach, Raiken, what does Raiken have, or what has he bonded with? We'll say IronBark over.
IronBark.
IronBark.
Well. The name in general, just. I don't know.
Maybe right.
What was your character again? Your character's
It's a Warforged Druid.
The Warforged Druid. So
culinary master. Maybe right.
Yeah, they would definitely be the food. Yes, it would definitely be the food. Yes, because no matter how good or bad it may taste, it's food. So we definitely would have to have bonded over food, specifically your cook. You know, if you cooked fish or cooked any sort of seafood, because with my background of being a fisherman and being a sailor, I would catch the fish no matter how big or small, and you would try your culinary arts of whatever it may be, even though you don't eat food.
All right, that's a pretty good one.
Yes.
All right, then
Become
IronBark. How have you bonded with Arsalan?
We both share little bird companions. So, probably little birds
Probably
get
little
along.
birds.
Yeah. Well, I was also thinking maybe Arsalan could be the one that sort of awoke IronBark or found him, maybe.
I was actually thinking that
Okay.
so there is this 2-hour journey that Arsalan takes from going from the city to his mentor's sanctuary, and he hasn't been offered that place very often to like live in the sanctuary, but he's like, nah, I like to walk. So I was actually thinking like maybe one day like he was wandering in the woods, just walking through it, and was just like, is that a warforge? Is that a warforge in the tree?
Okay.
And
then you would have done
And
something
probably,
to...
probably either like told my mentor about it, and was able together with her take IronBark out of the tree.
Yeah, you would have had to probably cut the tree down. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But-
it sort of crunched him out a little bit.
All right, that's a good connection. I dig
Yeah,
it.
I think that's cool that somebody
And
like,
the
awoke
birds.
IronBark, yeah.
Which then
I'm
makes
good.
sense if your birds are spelled similar.
Yeah.
Names are similar.
Yeah.
Okay, then Arsalan, what have you bonded with Savis over?
I think Arsalan would have been interested in the way that he conjures magic through the use of music and performance. Yeah, just being very interested in that is like, oh, yes, he also does magic. This is a very different way than I do magic. I have to learn all these different ways of magic. Interesting.
Mhm.
Very, very interesting. And also that has Zavis told us your actual name? Or do you, or have you just told us that your name is Raiken?
So I do this thing. I have a coin that says yes,
Hmm.
and I have a coin and the other side says no. So I'm gonna flip it. Yeah, he has. And so I do that with every character. Even as a DM, I flip a coin all the time just to make it do the decision. So yeah, I have.
Okay. I also find it interesting that he just is like, I'm Waymaker, and then I'm pretty sure probably one time either me or Raiken were just like, but your name is Zap. What? Huh?
You have
Why?
2 names.
Why do you keep on telling them that your name is Waymaker, not Zavis?
All
I
right.
don't understand.
That could be a very confusing thing for a low intelligence character.
Mine's an 8.
Hey,
Yeah, well, mine's a 15. Mine's a 16.
I have a fighter
This is
who has a 5 intelligence.
Wow!
And we realized the other day that someone who
That's
conjured a moose,
crazy.
the moose has a higher intelligence than him.
How does he function?
He barely, just barely.
Just
So
barely. Completely on impulse.
Speaking of ridiculous conjuring of things, I don't know if anybody watches Critical Role, but the 100th episode, they were getting attacked by a dragon turtle, and
That was funny.
they polymorphed it into a sea turtle, which moves faster than a dragon turtle, so it caught up with them with no problem, and then turned it into a sea slug, which is why I said I have a pet sea slug named Terry.
But it's like your slug is named that, but it's like you're not kind of in the loop. It's not a bird. It's a slug.
No, yeah, that's exactly, and it's probably dead. I mean, it's rotting
It hasn't
there.
been in the water. You know.
It's in a jar. It's in
Oh.
a jar of salt.
Horrible.
That's so sad. But next Tuesday we'll play the full session, and it's gonna be a Tuesday, so it's gonna be 1 to 4 Pacific time, which we've worked out those details, I think, plenty. And then we're gonna alternate to a Wednesday the next week, a Tuesday the week after that, and then a Wednesday the week after that. So those will just be recorded just like this. It won't be a live stream or anything. We'll record them and play it and just have a good time. A thing that had come up, I had mentioned briefly in a stream, is the idea of doing an after show. So after the episode airs, then we would me and one of you guys would hop on a call and live stream like an after show, answering any questions anyone has about anything. And then it would just be like you each would get a turn. Does that sound like something you guys would be interested in doing? Yeah. Okay. Then we'll work out the details for that. Any other questions? Yes, you have one.
Yeah. For this city that I'm making up, is there any details that you want me to include other than the name?
How detailed do you feel comfortable getting?
I can.
I'll send you. I have a list of questions I send, and you can answer as many or as few as you want. But I'll send you a list, and that way you can think about it, and we can place it on the map. And I'll send that actually out to everybody. Chris, since you're, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm thinking about putting my city probably like here.
Okay, right near Matt Demon.
Yeah, right near Matt Demon.
Right.
And then having like my mentor like be over here.
Okay.
How big are the hexes in terms of?
Generally, the hexes are about 1 day of travel.
Oh,
so it would be a lot quicker. But I was like, we could come up with some way that you get
so
around.
probably here and then here, because I was like, I was also writing down like, I just wrote down like a thing of trade. I was like, they have to figure out how to get this out of here. So probably just be by the water, I guess.
That's usually a good way to do it, especially up in the Arctic. This is pretty Arctic. This is like ice glaciers and stuff like that up here. So we can do it right there. But I'll send you a list of things. Same with the rest of you guys. Chris, since you were now found by Arsalan, I'm going to actually ask you if you want to describe the woods that you were in. Nice. And I'll send you some questions on that, if that's interesting to you.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think I want it to be like a real like heart of nature, which is sort of like how the magic with him becoming a druid and everything happened, like that he was sort of claimed by.
And that will be interesting in this area of the world because it's not a foresty part, so it might be like a little oasis. Woods. So that's an interesting
cool, icy, right? So
it's
maybe
usually
like
icy.
Underground or something, that like under the ice there was like little woods or something magical.
Yeah.
He's the Avatar.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, great. All four of the Genasis in one right there.
So I do have one question.
All right.
Oh no. Oh, what's the name of the campaign? I almost forgot the question. Do you have a name? I know that some people name their campaigns right off the bat, and others don't.
I haven't come up with the full name, but I did mention I am writing this as a module, so I'm trying to come up with the name for the module. But the main location that is going to be worked into the name is Red Cairn.
Okay, cool.
Avatar: The Last Warforged.
What's that?
Avatar: The Last Warforged.
Well, okay, so I guess that brings up another question for me. When it comes to what has the party either been doing or just finished doing up until the point where session 1 starts? Like, I don't know. Just because I don't know what event has transpired to us being together.
I think that's a really good one. I think you guys would have probably come to a city of undecided name, just kind of striking out on your own, and it's along one of the trade routes. We're just gonna pick a spot on this map right now. You guys are going to be, because I haven't played in this part of the world, there's this continent here on the side. And so on this coast, in this little inlet, there's going to be a city that It's going to be forested, but you guys would have come there maybe on a ship. A ship would have come through and picked up Arsalan and IronBark, and then probably stopped by Raiken's island on the way, and then Savis would be on there, and you guys would have just sailed over here as, like, you're striking out on your adventure. This is the upcoming city. Like, people are going there. They're trying to explore this continent. So it's kind of like a Wild West, but this is the bigger city in the Wild West out here. But not guns and, you know, cowboys. Does that make sense? Whoops,
Sure.
wrong button.
Sounds good.
I'll have a little better write-up before the game starts. I have to sit down and do it.
Oh no, you're good. I was just wondering if you had an idea of like what that looked like. So
Yeah,
cool.
just sailing. Because this is the time where you guys are finally like, we're getting out. We're gonna go see things. You know, so for you, Daniel, this is like immediately after your backstory ended. You're like, I gotta go, and you strike out. And same with Raiken. Like, you are like, well, time to go. Stop being a fisherman. Let me get on a different boat. So it's pretty early. So, but I do appreciate that you guys all made characters who are pretty heroic and have kind of a good meshing of personalities. I think that will go well. It's always terrifying to me to have that one, you know, lone ranger kind of character. It's like, please just work with the party.
Yeah, it's a team game.
Yeah, it's a team game. So I appreciate that. Zach, do you have any questions?
Not to hold you up, I'll probably just go through and figure out the whole. I pretty much got everything done for. You know, I got the domain good. I've got my proficiencies. Whatever Wrath of the Storm is, and then you said you were doing standard array for ability scores?
Yeah.
Okay, so I put all those in there. My intelligence is very, very fun. It's gonna be interesting. 8.
It's an 8. Hey, that's something.
And then it gave me sailor, ship's passage, and stuff like that. I kind of got some of the character details and physical characteristics and stuff. But for the inventory, there's the 3 attuned magic items, and then there's 17 things in my inventory. Do I just leave that how it is, and just go to it later, or?
What you can do, I'm gonna go pull up your character right now, while we're here.
I have a belaying pin and a rabbit foot, and I'm definitely gonna use that rabbit foot a lot. That's like my go-to item. I'm just always rubbing the rabbit's foot. I don't know, it's just something that I clicked on. I'm going to use it to my advantage.
So on your inventory, where it has your 17 items, you can go through, and anything that you wear or equip, like your armor, your shield, your mace. Oh,
yeah, because it gave me leather armor.
Yeah, you're going to need to go through and change up your equipment here, actually.
Yeah, I'll have to do that when I go to work.
But you can just equip those things. Don't worry about attuned items, because you guys don't have magic items at the moment. The big thing for you is going to be making sure your big homework is going through the spells and making sure you have your spell list kind of situated a little bit.
Oh, I watched your YouTube video. I'm pretty sure I got it.
Right. Oh, great. Yeah, so just come prepared to cast some spells. And like it's designed, this whole thing is supposed to be, you know, for first-time players. So as we are playing, any questions that come up, we'll take the time to answer it.
Okay.
I am open to Rule of Cool. I do enjoy those situations. So when you guys do have ideas of something really cool, I will most likely say yes. I do that a lot, especially if it's really cool. Like, I watch a lot of action movies from the 80s, so the more of that, the better, in my opinion. Yeah, and I think, any last questions before we log off and call it a session 0?
Yeah, I've got just a quick one.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you can see, but I'm pretty tired because I stayed up like really late last night, hours deliberating and theory crafting.
Right.
What would the gang's name be?
Oh yes.
We'll find that as we go, aren't we?
I thought Barry's voice was there.
I was just saying the Knights of Barry. The Knights of Barry.
I think it would be fun to come up with one. If you guys want more time to think about it, you can talk about it in Discord. But I agree, that's a perfectly good question. I are there any suggestions now? Knights of Berry is fine, but if anyone has others,
As none of us are knights.
yeah,
None of us
no
are
knights.
Yeah.
A bard, a cleric, a druid, a
and
wizard.
a wizard.
The Knights of
The
Berry.
Knights of Berry, perfect.
We are the Knights of Berry.
Describe
two
you to
eyes?
a T.
2 eyes. Not one.
Yeah, the
but
word
two.
knight has 2 eyes in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
KNIIGHT.
Oh, you thought it was the berry that had 2 eyes. No, it's not.
It's the Knights.
Everything has 2 eyes.
Everything.